your girl Stephanie, the Quilting Beauty. Welcome back to my corner of YouTube, y'all. Welcome everybody. As you can see, I did change the name to Quilting Beauty and Books. That is because I wanted my name to encompass everything that I love. Therefore, on this platform, I'll be sharing with you my latest quilting projects, skincare and beauty related items for the mature in beauty, and also books and my Christian faith. As you can hear my little pooch in the background, he is agitated because he wants to get to something that he cannot have right now. So ignore him in the background. But I pray that everybody is doing well today and that you enjoy today's video. As you can see, I do look a little ghostly. I look like I'm a little sick. I'm not. It's a good reason for that. It's a good reason, I promise. Today's video, I am doing a book chat, meaning I am going to be discussing with you a portion of a book, and while I am doing my makeup. Yay! Now, I did hint towards this in the last video, but I couldn't use that footage because I'm having some serious Wi-Fi issues. So I had to record it. So we get to play makeup again today, okay? As I said, that we will be discussing a chapter of a book. In today's book, I will be discussing chapter 11 of God Is Not Mad at You by Joyce Meyer. Chapter 11 is titled Be the Person God Meant You to Be. Okay? And before I get started, I will be sipping on my coffee. It is in my love cup. I got this off of christianbookstore.com. They were having a sale on it. And on the inside is red, as you can see. Guys, I am a coffee snob. Don't mean to be, but I am. This is McDonald's McCafe Black. This is McDonald's McCafe Breakfast Blend Coffee. I mix it with a packet of Nestle rich chocolate. I put that in there and a little creamer. Oh my God. Oh my gracious. Oh my gracious. It's some good drinking. You hear me? Okay, sorry about the slurp. So let's get into chapter 11 and let's get started on my makeup. I know I look a sight ghostly and all. I did do my eyebrows. The ghostliness is because I prime my face and then I follow behind it with a powder, Cody's Airspun powder. That is the only powder that I can combat my oiliness with underneath my makeup. So it's just extra protection of oil protectant for my skin. So like I said, I already did my did my primers. I always do my eyes first. So let's get started. Okay, looking for my hand sanitizer. I always put a little hand sanitizer on before I touch any parts of my face. And I do that several times throughout the process because, you know, help with extra germs. Combat extra bacteria from getting on my face, okay? That was the Laneige lip balm. I'm gonna start on eyes. I'm just doing a quick eye look. I have to go to take Benson to the vet. Somehow he's been injured and I gotta get to the bottom of it. Okay, now onto the book. Chapter 11 starts off with a quote, and the quote is, "To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the great accomplishment." and that is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. We are in a world that we are constantly trying to get something that someone else has, and we're not comfortable in our own skin. And I'm saying this from experience, not only the things that I'm seeing in this world. I actually lived it, so I am talking mainly from personal experience. The first topic under this in this chapter, she's talking about self-acceptance. But before we get into that, I want to read her first couple of sentences of this chapter, which blew me away, and I'm going to also tell you my comment that I wrote next to the book. Next to this these sentences. Being the person God meant you to be is necessary for your own fulfillment. God won't help you be someone else. He created each of us carefully and intricately with his own hand while we were in our mother's womb, and he doesn't make mistakes. I urge you to love and embrace yourself and never struggle trying to be something or someone that you are not. When I tell you, when I read those sentences, I was like, Lord, you coming after me right now. You are all up on my street, okay? And I said, I always had this wrong. And what I had wrong was, Oscar Wilde said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. If we try to be someone, this is back to Joyce Meyer, if we try to be someone else, we are bound to be frustrated because we are attempting the impossible. Although others may be an example to us, they are never meant to be our standard. Okay, that's all I'm reading from verbatim from her book. I am much older than probably all of y'all that currently follow me now. I want to say I might be. I am in my 40s. So, but it took me up until 42 when I realized that I had no love for myself. Because I was always too busy trying to be like someone else. Or, I never tried to be like a something. I always tried to be like a someone or someone's, I should say. So, let's go back to high school. And, of course, what kid did not want to be the cool kid or what all that kind of stuff. But I noticed quickly that I didn't fit in with the cool kids. I noticed quickly that I didn't fit in with the athletic kids. I didn't fit in with the musically talented kids. I was like the oddball out. And I just never knew where I fit in. Trust and believe. I tried to put myself in those different niches, as you would want to say. But I didn't succeed because that's not who I was meant to be. Then I started to be, more serious about, what I wanted to do in high school, like with my life and stuff like that. But where I was from or who I hung out with, they can care less about what I was interested in, and I was just like, well, I must be doing something wrong because what I'm wanting is not the popular thing to do. And I couldn't understand that. I couldn't understand why that wasn't popular, or why didn't people care to, celebrate, my uniqueness the way that, I am. And that took a huge hit on my psyche, and hearing conversations about me, of course, behind my back from family members and all that. I've always been the odd one, the only one who went to the, if you guys didn't know, I am a Army veteran. Only one that went to the Army, only one that at this point in my life, I am still the only one that went to the armed forces, in my family, in my immediate family. And I am, at this time I'm talking about, was the only one that tried to go to college. Well, it was kind of difficult, because my life wasn't fun. It wasn't what, everyone else was doing. So I was too busy trying to be somebody I wasn't. Trying to make their life my life and trying to be happy in it, pretending that everything was okay when it wasn't. But I didn't know that until, again, I was 42. So we were talking about over 20 years of my life, me living in somebody else's shadow, living in somebody else, trying to be in somebody else's shoes. And that is not, I repeat, that is not what God wanted. And it is nothing but by his grace that he had granted me all this time to figure it out. I mean, who gets over 20-something years trying to figure out who you are, Trying to figure out your purpose, trying to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, Not everybody get 20 years to do that. So high school was rough. College was rough because then all of a sudden I got into drinking and knowing well, I already made up in my mind that I didn't want to touch alcohol or drugs because it was so prevalent in my family. Alcohol turns our men into beasts, where they want to put their hands on women. I went down for that. I watched my mom, heard my mom being beat by my dad so many times, it's not even funny. I saw what drugs did to my brother, and what it attempted to do with their lives. I knew I didn't want no part of any of that. I knew that. But somehow I forgot that. And I went off to college. And yeah, I tried to be, again, in the cool kids section and call myself drinking wine coolers mostly. And then I had a couple mixed drinks because my favorite one was Bahama Mama. I don't know what all they put in that mess, but it was good at that time. But I don't know. I don't even know if there was name more. I just knew it was a blue drink and it was so good at that time. And I'm gonna tell you, if it wasn't for my friend Keith, I don't even know if he remember this. And I don't even know if he gonna watch this video, but if he do, he'll comment down below. He asked me not to drink anymore because I was so outside of myself. He asked me not to drink. And when I tell you, he saved my life, he saved my life. Because he asked me not to do it, and ever since then, I have never taken a drink since then. So kudos to Keith for listening to God tell him to tell me not to drink anymore. Now they were drinking. But he asked me not to drink, and I wasn't a driver, so it wasn't like, you know, he only said it so I could be a designated driver. I didn't drive then, so there wasn't that. I believe it was God telling him to tell me that. And I was, and ever since then, I just never done it. No interest in it whatsoever. So with that, I was like, okay, that was college. I was still trying to be, you know, someone I wasn't. And then with growing up, as you know, outside of college, getting a job, whatever, I was still finding myself competing, this time with my brother, Glenn, whom I love to death. And I was always trying to keep up with him, like keep up with the Joneses. If he got something new, oh my gosh, I had to come out with it or get it or whatever. Because I wasn't comfortable being a grown-up all by myself. So when I got tired, and then, you know, things start falling apart in my life. I mean, when I tell you big time, big time, things just started crumbling, and I couldn't get a grip. So what did I do? I added somebody else to the situation and had no business being in my life. I added a husband. And when I tell you it was not a good situation, it was not a good situation. Because my brother got married. He had somebody great in his life. And I had to have that too. And now I had to come up with a solution of how I was gonna get myself away from this trap. And I remembered that when I joined the military, I was all alone. And I learned to depend on God. That's where actually joining the military, that is where I really committed myself to Christ. I got saved, and that was, you know, bee's knees. So I was like, okay. And I felt that freedom. But when I came back, I felt God's freedom, I should say. Because, you know, he set me free from all that mess. But then when I had to go back to my, you know, living my life, you know, back with among my siblings and stuff, I wasn't strong enough. I wasn't strong. I was still trying to be them. So I decided to move all the way across the globe. But really, it is far. God knows it's far. Had to move all the way, you know, to North Carolina from Wisconsin just to get my life right. You know, set it back on a course that God meant for me to have it on. Found an amazing church. Loved it. And yada, yada, yada. So then I got married again and had children with my husband, even though I also had a son previous to my husband. And at the age of 42, I don't know if Bishop was doing a series or not. I am sorry if you just saw that light move. I'm not sure if she did a series or not, but I remember in looking in the mirror for the first time, looking at me in the mirror for the first time. Like, I'm looking at this mirror, I am concentrated on doing my makeup. If I'm looking at my eyes, I'm doing my eyes. If I'm looking at my cheeks, I'm doing my cheeks or whatever. But I actually looked in the mirror and I said, I love me. You know, I said, I love you to myself. I said, it's nice to meet you. You know, I was saying all these positive things to myself, because that is the time when I self-accepted. And it was the time when I was like, I don't need affirmation from my husband. I don't need someone to tell me I look good. I don't need somebody else to tell me what I got on look good, or does this color look good on me, or any of that. I didn't need any of that. The only person's opinion that mattered the most to me, and still to this day, is my husband's. I mean, Jesus is he must be talking about me. No. The important person that it matters most to is God. So it doesn't matter. He has to be talking about me. He's probably trying to get a hold of me. No, the most important person that matters the most to me is God's opinion of me. And also, am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing to please him daily? So he gives me a new confidence to say, you know, to stay in my lane and to be comfortable in my own skin. Eyes are done. Ta-da! Something simple, easy, neutral. So let's get on to the face. Yeah, so I was like, wow. So when I read that, I just knew that this was going to be a good chapter. She started off talking about, in this chapter, acceptance, just like I went through that, how I had to really figure out who I was and what I was called for, and who I was called to, because I knew God did not call me into all this foolishness that I was doing, and that was trying to keep up with everybody else. That I know he didn't call me for that mess, but I felt like I had to be so many things that I wasn't, you know, and in that it caused me so much grief. When I tell you, one day I'm gonna tell you about all the grief trying to be somebody else caused me. I'm mixing my foundations, guys. So my brushes are here. And then once you self-accept, you have to realize that, guys, your life, your talent, it's a gift from God. He gave you guys that gift, and when you don't accept it, you know, with a thank you and a praise on your lips, you're slapping them in the face. How dare you? I'm telling you guys, I learned this for myself. I'm not preaching to nobody. I'm telling you what I learned. I'm telling you what went through my head, you know, and how long it took me. You know, you went through the name calling and the backbiting from family, and I survived all that. I survived all of that. And it's not by mistake. It is not by mistake at all. God knows exactly what he's doing and exactly when you're going to come to terms with it. But I'm telling you, you need to stop fighting it. Because I fought it forever. It feel like forever that I was fighting it, you know? And it's okay, because he knows what's best for each and every one of us. Way better than we know ourselves, you know? And it's all good. All good. And so after you do self-accept, you have to receive. You have to receive this wonderful treasure from him, your gift. You have to accept it and walk in it, you know. And she was telling us, you know, giving great examples of, you know, some of us, you know, when we say we're going to get our life right, I gotta wait till I get my life right, or I'm going to come to Jesus when this happened, or whatever. When I stop smoking, or when I stop drinking, when I stop being in the bed, bed I won't not supposed to be in. That's not, he's not telling, he knows your hind part's not perfect. He knows each and every one of us. We are not perfect, and guess what? Never gonna be. And that is the thing, because I'm a person that suffers from perfectionism. A high school teacher told me that. I had a paper that was due. I could not turn that thing in because it just was not right. I couldn't get the words right to come out right. I couldn't get it to write on the paper. He kept saying, Stephanie, I need that paper. I need your paper. I was like, I can't give it to you because it's not sounding right. What did I do? I ended up recording it. Because I couldn't get it out. And he's like, you, girl. He said, you're a perfectionist. And it is going to cause you a lot of heartache in your life. He told me that. And this Benson. Excuse him. And when I tell you that man spoke truth in my life, because it caused me some heartache. It caused me some relationships. It has caused me a rift between my God. Because I couldn't get it right. So what was the point of me, an imperfect person? And one moment, guys. Whew, sorry about that, guys. I had to sign for a package. I didn't have no. Ooh, wait a minute. Or something I ordered for you guys to see, but it came from the Netherlands, so I had to sign for it, y'all. Sign for it. But anywho, foundation is on. I gotta take it down my neck and stuff. But yes, so Benson made me lose track of what I was talking about. So it is important. I'm just gonna say this. It's important to definitely know your gift, and to accept it, and to receive it, and know it is something that in your life that you're not to be trying to impress and please nobody but God himself. Because guess what? He is the one that gave it to you, regardless of what you think, how you came about it. It's from him. It's from him. And I think I was talking about perfectionist, wasn't I? Yeah. And I was telling you about high school, and I told you about how I could never turn that paper in. But yes, honey, being a perfectionist almost took my life. Yeah. That it did. Looks nice and even. I'm looking in the monitor, guys, so you can, it's bigger than the mirror that I'm seeing right here. Everything looks good. So, but yeah, perfectionist is a beast. So if you are on that bandwagon, jump off, because it is not worth your sanity. It's not worth your it's not worth your life. Trust me. It is not worth it at all. But until I learned that, I was, think of a picture of a hamster on a hamster wheel, and you are constantly just going and going. Oh my gosh, that's how it was. That's how perfectionism is. Because guess what? You'll never get there. You'll always be chasing after something that you will never obtain, and that is crazy. But again, it took me over 20 years to realize that. And that is unfortunate, because it is a killer. It is a killer. And you learn to hide stuff really, really well. Your emotions. It's not even worth it. And the next thing she started talking about was, what does the future hold? Once you learn to accept yourself, once you learn to receive that gift, your future is bright. I mean, there is no limits on what God has, set for you. You can run in your lane, not nobody else's, in your lane, and accomplish the things that He has for you. And be okay with it. I'm going to tell you, when it came to quilting, my nieces had a thing for dancing and all that. Oh, and I got to tell you about that too. About accepting and being with my nieces. I'm gonna tell you. I gotta tell you that. So, when I was learning how to be myself, I decided to go out clubbing with my nieces. Y'all, was this before the military? Or when I got back? It had to be when I got back, because my body was banging and I knew it then. And I went out with them girls. I'm about to call them, I always call them when I get mad at them. Not mad at them or just want to fuss them out. Them heifers. When I went out with them girls, I'm going to tell you, I had on me some Daisy Dukes. I had on me some tight fitting clothing to show off my assets. And when I tell you, I felt like a piece of raw meat that the lion was ready to just munch down on and devour. When I tell you, that changed my life. I felt so uncomfortable that whole time. God was like, girl, this is not what I called you for. What I tell you, I felt uncomfortable when I was up there dancing and went down. And you know how you dancing and you look over? Yeah, I did one of them numbers. And I saw that man over there, Pure TD1 drooling. I was like, I told one of them, my niece's corn and tired. I am ready to go. And I was like, I felt so uncomfortable. I became so self-conscious. I couldn't do anything right, Oh. And then I think they started shooting that night. And I was like, you know what? I am not going out with y'all no more. And it was so funny because we got back so late that night. I wish my mama was here so she could tell this story. What her reasoning behind what I'm about to tell you. She had my life insurance policy set out on the table. Because she just knew I was going to die. I was like, what? She said, honey, for one, that is not life is not you. She could tell you that much. She could tell me that. And my friend, to this day, he has still not talked to me. Because he's like, that is not your life. Don't do that. And I did it anyway. He didn't want nothing to do with me. He's like, nah, that's not you. You're not like that. So I thank God for all the angels that I had in my life. Speaking to them or not speaking to them anymore. That honestly changed my life. That, God put them there for a reason. To change my life. To change the course that I was on. Because I'm going to tell you, I shudder to think of the stuff that he's kept me from. All the stupidityness he done kept me from. Girl, he loved me in spite of me. In spite of my own self. And it's so, so refreshing to know. So I can't help but thank God for all his goodness and all that he's done for me. My soul can't help but cry out hallelujah. Because he has indeed saved me. Okay? And it's with such joy that I have that, I tell of his goodness. I don't mind sharing several of my testimonies, in which I have several. And I don't mind sharing those with people because guess what? That's what I'm supposed to do. I am supposed to save somebody else from the foolishness that I done put myself through, and pray that I can change somebody's mind from doing that silliness. So I'm telling you, it has been a life changer. So when I read it in this book, I was like, Lord, she is all retelling my life, Yo, excuse Benson. I'm not gonna even want to know. So with that all said and done, she also goes into learning to enjoy yourself, learning to step into who you are. Oh, I was saying is I had to accept my gift of quilting because I'm gonna tell you, quilting was not the cool thing to do. Everybody else in my family were dancers. They good at cooking or good at something. But here I come quilting. And they were like, girl, that's an old woman thing, I couldn't get it. And it took me a while to get in my lane, and then it took me a while to accept my lane. Because I didn't like my lane because it was an old woman thing or whatever. But I finally learned again at 42 that that's who I was supposed to be. And I learned to enjoy who I am in Christ. And of course, her next thing was to run your race. I said I wasn't going to do it again, but I am. She says, as long as we think we have no value and that something is wrong with us, we will struggle to be someone we are not. And we'll never have the joy of self-acceptance. It's time for you to be you. How awesome is that? There is no need to expound on that because she said it perfectly. Do what God has told you to do. Run your race. Run it. trying, run it, because it's only you. Zoe said it's only one you. Ain't nobody, some POP, I can't remember his name. Go to his channel, Zoe. I love me some Zoe. To figure out what they're saying is wrong. In other words, he's saying it's only one you. Be you. Okay, nobody else be better than you. And he said be POP, be pretty on purpose. That's right. Live your life on purpose. Do them lips. And then she says, the last part of this chapter is stop trying to impress yourself. A lot of times we be trying to impress other folks. But when you do it, you're like low-key upset. You don't get mad at nobody but yourself. Things don't go right with somebody else. But to me, trying to impress yourself, that is also going with being a perfectionist. Did I tell you guys I was taking my dog to the vet today? I know that was so random. But I'm taking him to the vet today. You guys heard him just holler out, right? Something is going on with him. I need to figure out what the deal is. But yeah, and if we stop trying to impress ourselves and honestly impress the one who created us, we will be a-okay. But yeah, she gave some, I'm sorry, I'm to get my lips right. She said, and here are some truths that you can take away with you and learn to love yourself, self-accept, run with what he gave you, learn to receive your gift. Here are some of them. The first one, I'm only giving you 4. I know God created me and he loves me unconditionally. He loves me even when I don't love myself. He loves me when nobody else loves me. He loves me when I do good and he loves me when I do bad. It's unconditional. Know that. Also, no matter how often I fail, I will not give up because God is with me to strengthen and sustain me. He has promised never to leave me or forsake me. God is with me to strengthen me. Meaning, when I'm down, guess what? He's lifting me up. When I'm weak, he's strong. When I hunger, guess what? He feeds me. When I thirst, guess what? He's there. He is the sustainer of my life. And he promised to never leave me, so therefore I'm never alone. Even though I might feel like it, I'm never alone. I will not be controlled by what other people think, say, or do. Even if they totally reject me, I will survive. God has promised never to reject or condemn me as long as I believe in him. I want to say that is so self-explanatory. Because it also touched on what I just said too. And the last one, of course, is you say, and I've learned to say daily, I am nothing, and yet I am everything. In myself, I am nothing, and yet in Jesus, I am everything he needs me to be. Okay? And with that, guys, we have talked about chapter 11 of Joyce Meyer's book, God is Not Mad at You. I did my makeup. I hope you like. Something simple, neutral, kept it a neutral eye. Gave myself a little highlight. I might do shown a little bit more, a little bit lighter, but I doubt it seriously. But and my lips are done for the day. So until then, guys, be well, be blessed, and know that I am thinking of you and praying for you all. Until the next video, guys.